Right, now this will tell us. And that's pretty conclusive. Still going, close. I think he got it down.
How strong is he?
Welcome back to the Pick and Go podcast. That's right. It's time again for your number one Super Rugby podcast. And we got a special show for you this week. We're coming to you from 4 different parts of New Zealand. Let's head up north first, as far north as we can go at the moment. And that's up to see our good friend Ben Searle of Searle Talk Sports. Searle, how you going, bro?
Yeah, good. I don't think I'm going to have to say much this episode. I reckon Piri and Izzy will be going at each other all day long, especially with some of the recent results. So, yeah, I might crack a cold one and put the feet up, eh?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Piri's Blues, bro.
Oh, who did they beat on the weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as he's spoken up, let's head down south to our very good friend Israel Dagg. Izzy, thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate your great insight into the crisis that is Crusaders rugby right now. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, I'll put my crystal ball on and, put myself in there and try and just have a little guess about what's going on. It's pretty obvious. They're in panic mode. They're in desperation mode. They got injuries. But it's great to be on here, Paulie. Every time I get a call from you, I just think, what do you want? And you gave me an emergency call yesterday, and I won't repeat how I answered the phone call, but yeah, it's good to be on here, brother.
As I said, it's great to have you aboard, Izzy. We're very keen to see or to hear the point of view from down south and just what's going on. And of course, if we're going to have a point of view from the bottom of the moat, we've got to have the point of view from the top of the castle, and that's from Piri Weepu. And Piri, not in studio with me today. Where are you coming from?
I'm actually in Taranaki, Chiefs country. Apparently, they decided to jump ship. But yeah, I'm in Taranaki up here for a noho of our students. So can't wait to get the popcorn going for me, old mate. Izzy.
Oh, we're just doing what's right for the competition. It's got pretty boring there. Don't make me bring up the Google image I screenshot the other day of all the titles that they've won in the past. But anyway, we can dive into it.
Reminds me of a Split Ends song. History never repeats. They play a bit of Split Ends down your way too, Izzy, don't they? I see red.
Yeah, there's a bit of red, there's a bit of blue, there's a bit of yellow, there's a bit of everything going on down here at the moment. Just trying to figure it all out, Paulie. No one really predicted this start to the season. A couple of teams they traditionally should have beaten, but the competition's healthy, it's competitive. And that's what everyone was wanting, It's not as predictable as many thought, particularly after last week when the Reds lost to the Force. Would have ruined many a multis.
Yeah, right. We'll get to that very, very soon. First of all, the topic for this week, what will happen first? Crusaders win or Canes lose? We'll go down south first. We'll see what Izzy has to say about this one, because they've got the Chiefs this weekend down there in Christchurch. They're significant outsiders at home to the Crusaders against the Chiefs. But if we remember back to round 1, they weren't that far away from actually picking up a win against the Chiefs up in Hamilton. So, Izzy, can you see a wee bit of light at the end of the tunnel here? Can the Crusaders win before the Canes lose?
Oh, that light's starting to fade. It's starting to become really dark in his hole. It's hard to really see it, Paulie, being honest. You're just watching, particularly on the weekend against the Blues. It was quite I was quite taken back, really, just kind of understanding it. Some of the decision making out there, just watching the players, like body language, and everyone was a little bit unsure, uncertain. and looking for searching for answers. And when you go searching, you probably push things a little bit too much, or you get a bit lost and a little bit apprehensive. It's hard to really see a way out, particularly with the injuries, man. Like, everyone's sees the results and sees the Crusaders and what they've done in the past, and the expectations are that they should win every week, no matter who wears that jersey. And yes, you can go and have that conversation, but you go through that team on the weekend, there is some very inexperienced players out there. You look at our locking department, Cahill and Jamie Hanna haven't played a hell of a lot of Super Rugby. Very good, but they got to call the shots in terms of lineouts. And then you're relying on George Bell, who's in his pretty much first year and been throwing the ball to say, here you go, son, go and win us a lineout, and they can't. The Crusaders' strengths are set piece. Go to their set piece, go to their lineout. That's how we won titles, We kick to the corner, we score rolling more tries. I can't even remember the last time we had a rolling more try. You'd know the odds on our hookers scoring tries, Paulie, but I'm sure they were paying plenty because we haven't got any chance of getting close to there. And then you've got selection headaches. You're like, why is Willie Hines playing in front of Mitchell Drummond and Noah Hotham? The future is coming off the bench. Yes, he had a difficult game in the against Waratahs. And then Taha Kamara is solely blamed on him losing against Fiji and draw. So there's just a little bit of confusion, man. A little bit of confusion at the moment down here in Crusaders land. I can't see them picking up a win this week. It's hard for me to say I'm Crusaders through and through, like, got my blanket, I wear it every day, but it's just hard. Well, I just can't see us finding a way unless the day we get some cavalry back, some numbers back, particularly in pretty important positions. Like Cody Taylor coming back will be huge. You got Ethan Blackadder on the blind side. That will just go a long way. And even a 10. And a 10 in position. I think we need a midfield that is direct, that can distribute. At the moment, we're not getting any cohesion and continuity going there. So the Crusaders got Chiefs. I can't see them picking that up. And the Highlanders are taking on the Hurricanes. Can't see anyone beating the Hurricanes at the moment.
Right, let's head up north for I guess, a neutral point of view from our man.
Yeah, neutral.
and our man Izzy, he just mentioned the Crusaders set piece, and I don't think I can remember a time when their line out has been in such a shambles. And he's right. The rolling maul from a 5 meter out line out was almost a given. That was almost a given try in seasons gone by for Crusader. In fact, I think Cody Taylor was sometimes priced as if he was a winger because it was almost automatic. Once the Crusaders got down, had a 5 meter line out, that was almost to get that. That's a try for Cody Taylor off the back of that rolling maul. Searle, can you see any light at the end of the tunnel for this Crusader? Let's not forget they do have almost an All Black team on their injury list right now.
Yeah, I got to say, Izzy, that was quite a passionate and depressing speech there. And for a while, I started to feel sorry for you, but then I just remembered how many times the Crusaders have beaten everyone and how much gloating was going on down there. So, yeah, fair to say, I still don't feel sorry for you, and I'm glad the Warriors could go down to Christchurch and show the locals what a winning team looks like. But yeah, look, in terms of the Crusaders, I think once Fergus Burke gets back, then they're in with a sniff to win some games. I think he's going to make a massive difference. I've been saying that for a while, but yeah, they get the bye next week, I think. So hopefully they can go away and just a bit of a refresh, because we all know mentally like how tough it must be for them down there. Like you said, set piece has been the cornerstone of their game for so long. Once that leaves you, then it almost seems like you've got nothing to fall back on. So I think that bye week will be huge for them. Then they shoot over to Sydney to take on the Tars and possibly a bit of redemption from that Super Round loss. If they can get a few bodies back for that one, it would be huge. But yeah, it's not easy for Crusaders at the moment just because those cornerstones of their game seem to have deserted them as well. So the head noise must be massive down there at the moment.
Well, Piri, you're looking at it from a completely different perspective. I can see that you're struggling to hide the glee, the happiness that you have as the Crusaders sink to the bottom of the Super Rugby Pacific table. What happens first? Canes lose or Crusaders win?
I'd say Crusaders win before a Hurricanes loss. But most of the stuff that Izzy touched on, that's the cornerstone of most teams, is that having that spine right. And at the moment, they obviously don't have that across the board. Maybe in one or two positions, but not across the board. So that's obviously something that they need to touch on. And I know it's not going to be an easy task this weekend, going up against the Chiefs, who are in hot form too. But I mean, they have shown glimpses of what they're capable of. It's just doing it for 80 minutes. And if you don't do it for 80 minutes, which usually with the Crusaders, they're pretty consistent with playing for 80 minutes, grinding things out even if they're behind, and then sort of last sort of 5-10 minutes of the game, that's when they come back into their realm and get the job done. But I think they're just sort of in patches. They look good, and then for the rest of the game, they're sort of looking for that opportunity that they've created beforehand.
Right, let's have a little bit of a review of last week's games, and the round kicked off with the Hurricanes up at Palmy taking on the Rep. This game was over after about 20-25 minutes. The Canes were just irresistible. There were 13-14 changes from the team that they fielded the week before, and usually when that happens, combinations take a while to sort of form. There can be a bit of rustiness. There was nothing like that for this Canes team on Friday night. 54-28 over the Rebels. I think the 28 actually flattered the Rebels, to be fair. The Canes were just supremely dominant. They looked better right across the field. Izzy, are you buying this Canes team at the moment? They're yet to lose, top of the table.
As hard as it for me to say, yes, I am. I am buying into this Hurricanes outfit. Like, those games are easy to drop. Those games are easy to go out there and lose cohesion, lose a bit of continuity and confidence within the environment. 14 changes, you're thinking, wow, this will be hard for these players to get up. But man, it's a hungry group. It's a hungry group that everyone wants to compete and be competitive. I was watching that game at a wedding until we flicked it over to the wires. I thought game over. And then I was like 31. No, I was like, oh my God, this is a bloodbath. They just seem to be getting it right. And you think of the Crusaders in the past, they'll flip roles. The Hurricanes set piece is arguably one of the best in the comp. You got Tyra Lomax who's leading the way in the pack. You got Safo Moore, who has really taken to that leadership role. He is absolutely loving it, outstanding. I think his game's gone to another level. I thought the 10 position would be difficult for the Hurricanes to compete. They got a young 10, but Aidan Morgan really stood up on the weekend. You got Brett Cameron, who's playing well, and then you've got the luxury of having arguably the best 9s in the comp. They look fit, whether that's Clark Laidlaw's 7s background, mate, they just don't die in the fight. They're always working extremely hard, and it's hard as a rugby fan not to love the Canes and what they're about. They've won games. They won at home against the Blues. They beat the Blues. They've won games on the road. That first game against the Force was always a tricky game. What are the Force going to bring? It's hard to travel and play in that heat. They get their result easily. Look, surprised me, to be completely honest. I didn't think they'll be this good. And they've proved me wrong, and they're going to continue to prove so. And when you build confidence in your group and what you're about, it's hard for me to see them losing it. This is probably the year that the Canes are going to take it to another level. Like, how do you pick their team after last weekend's game? Brad Shields, Peter Larkai, who comes in, Duplessis, Karifi, like, they got competition throughout every position.
But he brings up a very good point there. The Hurricane set piece is looking probably the best it ever has in the history of Super Rugby. This is a very, very good forward pack. You've played behind a number of Hurricane forward packs, and I'm not sure you would have got the same sort of service that TJ and Cam Roigard are getting from this Hurricanes pack. Have you been impressed so far by the way the pack's been going?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think they've only sort of been dominated maybe once or twice at scrum, but majority of the time they're pretty much on song with their set piece and being able to create opportunities for their backs to fire a shot. Not only that, when they get the ball down the right end of the field for their line out, they're getting quality ball. So yeah, it's a tough one because, like as you said, that you would have thought that whoever you bring in, they've got to try and find their place within this team. But it seems like it doesn't matter who they put in there. They get the job done. And everyone's actually putting their hands up to give the coaching staff a bit of a headache.
It's a good problem to have, Searle, for Laidlaw, deciding who to leave out of the side as opposed to who to put in. So this is something, this sort of depth we probably haven't seen in a Hurricanes team for a long, long time.
Yeah, it's something that all the best sides have, isn't it, across all sport, really. And it just goes to show, like Izzy was saying, it's so easy to be complacent against the Rebels. Like, they're missing some of their best players because they're not getting paid their money. Like, it's so easy to drop standards. That franchise is a shambles at the moment, but because the competition for spots is so high within the team, they've set their own standard and their own benchmark. And if you have an off day, you're going to be replaced. You even look at the outside backs like Salesi Rayasi, those guys are struggling to get minutes, and you chuck him in here, he scores 2 of the first 3 tries in the game. Like, they're just so stacked across the park, and it looks like internally they're driving their own standards. It doesn't matter who they play. So yeah, going to be tough to beat, man.
Right, let's move forward. The Brumbies took care of Moana Pacifica 60-21. The Drua Golden Point Thriller in Fiji, 39-36 over the Waratahs. They're just making the competition just that wee bit more exciting, that wee bit more. If you travel to Fiji, you're going to have a game on your hands. Izzy, did you have a lot of success in Fiji? Did you actually play much in Fiji?
Yeah, I played a game there against the Chiefs. Played there once and we lost. It's a hard place to play, man. Like, it's so hot. It's so muggy. It's slippery, humid. It's just Fiji, and I'm not surprised. It is so hard for them to be beaten over there in Fijian conditions. You've really got to be there mentally. Like, the week building up to that game, you have a decision to make. You're like, I can stay inside in the aircon, or I can go outside and acclimatize. And I've done both. And the first thought that comes to your mind, stay inside by the aircon, is probably the wrong decision. You've got to try and get out there and acclimatize as much. But I've been really impressed with not only Fiji and Drua, the Moana Pacifica. Like, they're not the easy beats of the competition. Yes, Moana went down against the Brumbies pretty convincingly, but they've been competitive, and particularly between the first couple of rounds, if they had a couple of moments go their way, they could have got a few more results. Fiji and Drua, just how good for the competition. Like, they just bring so much entertainment to our game. Like, that set up for that drop goal winning goal, I was like, that wasn't part of the play.
It was like,
for your freestyle, let's bang it over from nowhere and win the game. So that's what we love, man. But unpredictability, it's bloody good.
Yeah, big time. Exactly. That drop kick was very much ad lib, very much Fiji and Drua.
What about that Chicago Bulls hat? Hey?
yeah, that was good, man.
That was big.
That was a nice little, I guess, thought back to the last time he was interviewed, or they got interviewed about beating the Drua. Chiefs, 28-21 over the Highlanders. Chiefs were running away with this one, and then the Highlanders just came back into this one. And I guess let the Hurricanes know that they don't give up. So if you're going to beat them, you're going to have to score points and not take your foot off the throttle. You've got to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, we did touch on it at the start of the season about although they're a young squad, their energy around it is probably something to keep an eye on, because they may lack experience, but what they do have is that energy that you want to have every year for every game, and that's just to play for 80 minutes whether you're getting smoked or not. So yeah, they definitely are a team that we have talked about, that we can keep an eye, that we need to keep an eye on. I guess it is still early in the season, but if they can finally pull it together, I think they'll be pushing their case at the top of the ladder.
Searle, Blues 26, Crusaders 6. And I think the game was sort of summed up, or even the season, when I think it was O'Moore late in the game was diving over for a try, and Caleb Clark came across and just knocked the ball out of his hand. It was almost, well, this is exactly how the Crusaders season has been going. They just, when you think they're going to make a step forward, they take 2 steps backwards.
Yeah, I think that kind of sums up that confidence piece we were talking about before, because I think everyone in New Zealand rugby was so excited to see how Levi Armour was going to go down in the red and black, because he was so good for Moana last year, but he looks like one of those players that's really been affected by it as well. Just things aren't going their way at the moment. Yeah, they're down in the dumps. I must say those heritage jerseys were a nice touch. Geez, that made it cool to watch through the TV screens, and like all the marketing around it as well. But yeah, you could have been watching from back in the day. So it was cool to see. Blues, like that first half was a bit tough to watch. Second half, they kind of hit their straps and played a bit more to the conditions. But yeah, Crusaders, nothing's working for them at the moment. They just look like a team that no matter what they try, it's just going to go wrong. So yeah, they'll be keen for a spell next week, I reckon.
How good was Cole Forbes?
Yeah, unreal.
I was like, who is this kid? He should straighten up the attack, set up 2 tries for the Blues, change the game. I reckon, change the game for the Blues, and they thoroughly deserved their win. I'm surprised it wasn't more, to be honest. I think it was 3/4 of the game they were in the Crusaders 22, and I was like, geez, we've hung on deep.
I think the weather was your friend on Saturday night, Izzy.
I think it's going to rain on Friday for the Chiefs, so they'll hate that.
There we go. There's a wee bit of light at the end of the tunnel for Izzy and the Crusaders. Our final game of the round was the Force upsetting the Reds. But Force just going to show. Perth is a tough place to travel to. We say that Fiji's tough with the humidity and the heat, but I guess just the travel time heading across to Western Australia also creates, and the time of day that they play, or the time of that relative to where you're coming from, also can have effect. So Force 40, Reds 31, just making this competition just a wee bit more interesting once again. Right. Funnily enough, we
didn't watch it, didn't see it, saw the score on Google, couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I'll second that. Good to see the Force finally backed up my preseason statement though and got a win just after I'd given up on them. But yeah.
Same.
Right. Let's move ahead to this week, and we'll have a look at 3 games this weekend. And the game that kicks off the round, down to Christchurch we head Friday night. Crusaders hosting the Chiefs, of course. They've already played this season back in round 1. Very, very tight game. This time the Crusaders are $2.70 in the match result market. The Chiefs are $1.50. The draw's at $18. The Crusaders at home are 6.5-point underdogs. The game total is at 54.5. Izzy, we're recording this on a Tuesday morning, so we don't know the lineups, but obviously the Chiefs I'm guessing are going to go in with pretty much a full squad. Obviously, you've got the inside word of what's going on in Crusader camp. So
he's trying to find it right now, but
I was thinking head heart. Where do I go here? Well, the Chiefs have already come out arresting David McKenzie. The disrespect of that decision, Clayton. You can't tell me that wasn't because the Red and Blacks are struggling. Of course it is. But still, I can't see them losing. Honestly, they haven't got any players coming back from injury. They've got injuries at 12 with David Havili, an experienced player who I feel like is a little bit underdone as well. He's going to go. He won't play with a calf injury. So what does that do to the midfield? Does that bring Dallas McLeod in with Levi or more? Who starts at 9? The locking department, Quinton Strange was meant to start. He's the line-out caller. Well, he went out with a neck injury last week late in the piece, and that disrupted the line. This Chiefs outfit, they haven't been really convincing this year. I feel like there's been moments and glimpses where I'm like, man, this team, they're going to win it. They're going to win it. And then, on the weekend, it would have felt like a loss. Well, they come out and said it felt like a loss against the Highlanders. But honestly, no one fears coming to Christchurch at the moment. No one fears coming south, and they feel like they can get a result. And my heart's telling me Crusaders, but my head's telling me Chiefs, 12 and under.
Piri, big out Damien McKenzie for the Chiefs. And when he hasn't been on the field for the Chiefs, they have lost a wee bit of shape. Is that a concern for you? Or do you think the Chiefs go down and just pick up the points and head back to Hamilton?
No, I don't think it's a bad thing. I guess, it's a chance for them to bring through a bit of, I guess, to get someone else to drive the team. So that if that does actually happen where they lose D-Mac, at least they've got their backs covered and in terms of game drivers and that. So,
Josh Barney.
Yeah,
he's not bad.
Not only you, they'll have to have a look at someone else as well, just in case that's going to be doing that. But I mean, if you look at the way that they've got strike power pretty much everywhere else, I don't think it would matter too much who they put at 10, because I think those boys will just, encourage them just to play footy while their game drivers sort of like Ratima and co just tell him play footy and we'll do the rest, because they've sort of been there and understood how to run the team when D-Mac's not around. So I still think it's going to be a tough one, even though they're going down there. I hated going to Christchurch because it was a fortress, and it's not easy to go down there and get a win, even though they aren't the greatest team at the moment. But I still think it's going to be a struggle for any team that goes down there, even if they've got their confidence up.
Searle, is this a done deal for the Chiefs? They just head down there, grab the W, and get out of town. Is there hope for the Crusaders this weekend before they head into the bye?
Don't you love that, eh? Crusaders this week, boys. Let's just rest up big guns, eh? And go down there and get the points. So it is crazy, though, because you think back a couple of weeks ago and they probably should have bet the Hurricanes at home, who are the form team in the competition. So like Piri said, it's not easy to go down to Christchurch and get the dub. For me, it's that Chiefs forward pack. Man, watching that first half against the Landers, like their defense is just brutal. You could feel those shots through your TV screens, like Finau, Tupovai, Luke Jacobson, all playing unreal footy. So I think they've just got enough experience in there, no matter who's at 10, to be able to get the job done against a side that's just on the ropes. But I do think it'll be a 1-12, like what Izzy said, because that home crowd, like I expect the Crusaders faithful will still show up, and that'll take them up another notch. And hopefully they can just find a bit of pride in that jersey and push the Chiefs a little.
Next game we'll look at Moana Pacifica up against the Blues, and the bookies have given the Blues a significant handicap here. Blues 21.5 point favourites. The Blues are $1.08 in the market result book. Moana Pacifica 7. The draw's at 26, and the game total is at 63.5. We'll stay with you, Searle. The Blues, this is an opportunity, I guess, for them to rotate a few players in and out. But even if they do that, they probably have just too many weapons across the field for Moana Pacifica.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, though, because I think historically, since Moana have come into the competition, these games have been decided by a handful of points. Like Moana, they have that younger brother mentality in these games. A lot of their players have been involved in that Blues setup before. Obviously, Tana at the helm as well, so he's got a personal little beef there. So if there's a game that these guys will get up for, it's this one. And I think Moana rested a fair few bodies last week looking ahead to this game. So I think that line of 21.5, if the Blues are going to rest a few of their big names, could be a little disrespectful, because I think Moana will show up looking to try pull off a statement. I'm back in the Blues, but wouldn't be surprised if this one's in that kind of 1 to 12 margin, or just slightly ahead of that, but under that line. Because, yeah, like as he's referenced before, I think Moana are a lot more drilled of a team than they have been in the past. They've got some good structures there and some flair. So if you underestimate them, they can light you up at the drop of a hat.
Am I correct? Last year, Eden Park, they nearly won it, eh?
I think they won with like a minute to go, the Blues. Like it was like almost extra time. Yeah, exactly. And the year before, I think it was 4 or 5 points as well. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a home game for Moana, but it's at Eden Park, so it's a home game for the Blues, to be fair. And Moana Pacifica have shown already this season that they're, as Izzy mentioned, they're not the easy beats anymore. They went over and beat the Force back in round 3 or round 4. But this is going to be a tough one, Izzy.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Moana, but yeah, I do give them a little bit of hope. Where I get confidence from is we know the Fijian flair that their teams offer, but you look at Mick Byrne and what he's doing with Fiji and Drua, it's getting that balance between run, kick, pass, particularly with the Moana Pacifica. They got Stephen Jones here, the Welsh international, and his kind of knowledge and understanding of game sense and you know, driving play the team around the park. I think that's where he has a huge input. From the Blues point of view, I'll just be interesting to see what their team's like, you know, whether they keep the same team out there to build cohesion or they give players opportunities they haven't had a crack. I think it's the Blues. They're going to get the result, but I just don't think it's going to be as easy as probably many out there predict. I've been pretty impressed with Moana Pacifica and Tana. You know, I think they've got a lot of belief and understanding who they are, where they are, their culture, their identity, and yeah, I think it's starting to show. But
Piri, if the Blues do make wholesale changes, can Moana keep it within that 21.5 point handicap that the bookies have opened? That's 3 converted tries.
Look, I'm backing Moana this week. I've just enjoyed what they've been doing this season. I know they've shown glimpses of it the last 2 seasons, but like the boys have said, and the Tana and Koda, they've actually had a bit more structure to their game. I think this is going to be like like you said, little brother, big brother, who's going to throw the best punch kind of thing. So I think it'll be a good one for Moana. I know they, like you said, it's supposed to be a home game for them, but I don't think it matters what field they're on. They could play in the paddock over in the other somewhere else, and I think it'll be a mean game to watch. It's going to be pretty physical. I know that for sure. It's going to be a physical game, so I'm going to back Moana to win that within 12.
To be fair, and we'll get to it a little bit later, though, the only leg of your multi that fell over last week. So I'm happy that you're sticking with Moana Pacifica. Haven't abandoned them yet. Last game we'll look at Highlanders Hurricanes. Highlanders $3.50 in the match result option. Hurricanes $1.33. The draw's at $18. Hurricanes are 9.5 point favourites down south, and the game total's at 57.5. Highlanders will be tough down south, Izzy. They always are. Are the bookies giving them enough respect here, making them 9.5 point underdogs at home?
I think it's pretty fair. Like, I thought they would have got up against the Brumbies a couple of weeks ago, and their result kind of rocked me. And I know they made some changes. Reece Patchell was out, gave Cam Miller a crack, so probably that kind of dented the confidence a wee bit. But, mate, they've been impressive. I still can't, for the life of me, understand how Palau Fakatava runs around with no ACL. That is mind-blowing to understand and still be as competitive as he is. Look, they tend to surprise. Like Billy Harmon's probably arguably one of the best centre-mids in the competition. Hell of a leader, and the way he carries the ball, he's just very, very impressive. AJ Faleanga coming off the bench, I think he's got a bright future, but I just can't see them beating the Hurricanes. They're just on another level, man. Like, going down south doesn't daunt them. They've done it before. They are competitive games, but I just can't see them having. But it won't be an easy beat. Like Clark Dermody, Jamie Joseph influence, it's making a difference. Like, you can just see what Jamie Joe was able to do in 2015 and inspire a team of, let's say it, no disrespect, but no ones to go out there and win the comp, and no one gave them a chance. So they'll be competitive. Where are they competitive? In the physicality area, at the tackle breakdown. They'll run all day, and it'll be a game. But Hurricanes, I just cannot see them losing. I think they'll go down there, and I think they'll win comfortably and 13+.
Searle, do you share the same confidence that Izzy has in the chances of the Canes this weekend as they have to head down south to take on the Landers?
Yeah, I agree. I think it will be competitive. Landers showed last week that they've built a real culture down there, and they're not going to fold. So even when their backs are against the wall and they're down by 28, they've got some pride in that jersey this year, and they'll play right down to the wire in front of a packed zoo. They've been getting really good crowds, so no doubt they'll want to turn up. There's some cool matchups as well. The battle of the young 15s at the back, that's bums on seat stuff, because both of them are probably shooting for All Black spots. I'd chuck them both in along with Shooter at the moment, but there's so much talent out on that park. I think any other team but the Canes, you'd be a little bit questionable at home against the Landers, but like we spoke about before, like, they're setting their own standards. There's no room for complacency in that Hurricanes team, because if you don't show up ready to work, you'll lose your spot the next week. It's as simple as that. So I think they will get the win, but I expect the Landers to still impress just by showing that they're a different side this year. They got plenty of heart and ticker, and they got plenty of razzle as well. So there's a lot of X factor in that team. They're a fun watch, so I'm expecting it to be an entertaining game.
I was going to cross to Piri now, but it looks like the Wi-Fi in Taranaki is given up the ghost, and he's frozen in time. Oh, no, he's back. I think Piri's back now.
You there?
Yeah, there he is. There he is. The Canes, $1.33 match result. Surely you're confident about how they're going to go with the game down south and come back still at the top of the table, still with the 0 in the loss column.
It's still playing.
Oh, yeah, no, that Wi-Fi, that Wi-Fi up.
Confidence. He's just done a mic drop, mate.
Yeah, unreal. The Lamborghini's blocked his Wi-Fi. Far out.
He's frozen in time, unfortunately, Piri. The old, I guess, what is the time right now? I guess this is about a time when they have smoko up Taranaki way, so they've turned the Wi-Fi off, and he might come back to us a wee bit later if he can sort that out. Right, we'll get to the punting part of the program, and
yeah, this is where I'm shit. So
full disclaimer,
yeah.
I like it.
I've got no hope. You know that, Paul.
I'll give you the tip. You're not alone in that department. I'm joining you there. I'm absolute rubbish at the moment. Thank goodness we've got Searle and Piri, because they are having a good old go. Last week, Piri had his $100 to spend. He put 50 on the Drua head-to-head at $1.50 odd. And then he had 50 on a 4-leg multi, Canes, Moana, Chiefs, and Blues. The Moana Pacifica just leading him down there. But he currently has a profit of $678.20 over the first 5 rounds of Super Rugby. So he's had a very, very good start. Searle, last week, the whole 100 went on a 4-leg multi, Canes by 13 and over, Drua, Chiefs, and Blues. And that came out at $4.35. So he is up $287.50 for the year so far through 5 rounds. And I am down $387.50 for the Super Rugby season. I have been terrible. I've had one winning bet out of the 5 rounds so far. So I've done a wee bit of homework, and I'm coming back this weekend. But I don't know if Piri heard, but he is at the top of the punting table with a profit of $678.20 over the first 5 rounds. I hope he's been taking these bets himself, because he'd have a bit of cash. In fact, he could give a couple of tips to help out. So we'll go to Searle first. You've got your $100, Searle, to spend on round 6 of Super Rugby. Where are you putting your money this week?
Well, like you said, had a big win last week, so I've got way too confident here, and I've decided to go a 6-leg multi. I'm going to try pick the perfect round, chuck $100 on it. Why not? So I've gone the Chiefs, Tars, Drua, Blues, Canes, and Reds all head to head. That's paying $6.04. We'll chuck it all on there. And look, if it loses, 2 legs back, bonus back. So not the worst.
I'm glad you bring that up around the Mega Multi bonus bet, because Izzy got a bonus bet in his account over the weekend. He doesn't understand why he had 2 losing legs, but because he took a 6-leg multi, oval ball multi, that was good enough. So, yeah, if you take 4 or more legs, you can lose by 1 and get a bonus bet. 6 or more legs,
It was actually on the
lose by 2 legs, or 8 or more legs, you can lose 3 of them and get a bonus bet back through that oval ball mega multi. So, yeah, just something to keep in mind. If you do like to push the boat out a wee bit, there's still an opportunity for you to get a bonus bet. We'll head to the man who's at the top of the table, just like the Canes. Where are you going to put your money this weekend, Piri?
I'll put 50 on the Drua again. Head to head, and then a multi Chiefs, Tars, Canes, and the Brumbies.
What are you going to make? $1.27 on $50. Was that $14?
Well,
He's playing a win. He's playing a win.
I'm going to win, mate. It doesn't matter on the outcome.
Doesn't matter how you win.
Is he? Is he?
Yeah.
Where would you go if you had $100 to spend this week?
Mate, I can't pick my nose at the moment. So I know I said my head in the last one. Can I go with my heart? Oh, no. What have I done? Okay. I'm going to cover all bases here. So pretty much sitting on the fence. I'm going to go Crusaders. 12 and under. 5 away. I know. I gave them no hope. But anyway, this is my ADHD kicking in. I've gone Fiji and Drill to win. Waratahs to win. Hurricanes 13 plus. Hundy on the nostril, $13.80, $1,380. I'll come over the top. Well and done for the dagger. Let's go.
Oh, I'll tell you what, if the Crusaders had that sort of confidence right now, they would have picked up at least one win.
Get him in the camp. Get him in the camp.
You're still looking in good shape there, Izzy. Are you sure you don't want to come back out of retirement?
Oh, it's funny you say that, Piri.
Oh, just remember you heard it first here on the Pick and Go podcast. Israel Dagg making a comeback.
Story, man. I'll tell you a story. So yesterday I was at the gym and someone came in and said, "Whose is the white car? It's getting towed." I was like, "No!" I ran across the road, and I looked at him and he goes, "It's you." And I said, "Oh, sorry, mate," and blah, blah. And then the first thing he said, "So when are you making a comeback, play for the Crusaders?" I was like, "Well, if you let me off."
Yeah. Mate, you could be Toby Arnold easily, mate.
And because the tow truck was reversing and it was just about to go under the truck. And then he started putting it back in, and then I was just took my way out of it, bro, and he got a little ticket. So, yeah, I keep getting asked. I said, "Mate, They're desperate if they ask me. Far out. I know they're desperate, but not that desperate.
Oh, wow. There you get. There's something I didn't think we'd hear on the show today. The trials and tribulations of Israel Dagg and the tow truck. Look, I'm going very, very simple. I've got to be humble here. I've been doing very, very poorly. So I'm just trying to stick with something that looks real sure, easy to predict. I'm going with the Chiefs. Match result. That's $1.50. Into the Waratahs, $1.30. Into the Canes, $1.33. That's it. A 3-leg multi, $100 goes on. I'm hoping that I can start building my bank balance back into the good and not the bad. I see. Look at Izzy. He's just shaking his head already. Come onto the show 1 week, and he said at the beginning. I'm sure he said, "Do I go with my head, my heart?" And what's he done? He's gone with his heart again.
It'll probably cost me, but you know what happened last week, Paul? The obvious isn't always the way. Michael Van Gerwen was meant to beat Price at $1.63, and he lost. So you never know. It can happen.
It certainly can. And I know from your experiences that it definitely does happen. Look, we've also got this tipping comp that we're doing in Super Brew. Once again, I'm going terrible. But how's the Powser? How's Powser going? How did he go last week?
I think I got 4 out of 6 in my results.
Do you know where you are on the ladder at the moment? I might search.
Nah, that part I haven't quite figured out.
I've worked out my dilemma, if that helps, Paulie.
Yeah.
So I have 2 different accounts that I've been making different picks on each week, which is great stuff. So one of them I've done 3 of the 5 rounds on, and I'm coming 80th. So that's a good result. The other one I've done 2 of the 5 rounds on, and I'm coming second to last. So hopefully I can merge them all and sort out which account I'm meant to be logging into each week, and we'll look to pick up from there, eh?
I can confirm there will be no merging whatsoever in terms of the tipping comp. I actually lied a wee bit. I'm actually in 17th place. I made a bit of a jump last week. So, yeah, 17th at the moment. Right up the top of the leaderboard, though, is C. Posse 69.
Who's that?
C. Posse 69.
I think you should be reading that one out, Paulie, if you break it down. I think it means something slightly different to maybe a young Jaguares fan that you thought perhaps, but nah, it's
Paulie,
just...
you have just done yourself a shocker.
Oh, that is good.
Someone please overtake the guy in front at the moment so I can pronounce the name properly.
Let's have a campaign to keep them at number 1, so Paulie has to read it out each week.
I'm down to 85th.
85th.
Down, yeah.
Okay. All right. So don't
I must have got the invite, so all good.
Now, jump in now.
Check your spam.
We're giving both picks away at the end of the season.
You're C. Posse, aren't you? That's you.
Oh boy. I think we better cut it off before we get cut off permanently. Izzy, thanks for joining us today. You heading to the ground on Friday night? What are you up to?
Nah, I'm going to Nelson for Easter.
Nice. Oh, nice. You had to get away early this morning because you were giving someone a golf lesson. Is that right? What was happening?
Oh, nah. You're lucky because his daughter broke her arm, so he's had to go to get an X-ray. So I'm actually all good. I'm just gonna go pack the caravan after us, do some house chores, and then I said to the wife, if I do that, can I play golf tomorrow? She said yes. So all good. Play the golf tomorrow.
Where are you going, Pegasus or Clearwater?
Clearwater.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Richie says Richie go way back. He was his best mate.
We went down and hung out with Dude Perfect. What are you talking about?
How was that?
Well, wasn't as good as Richie. He was up on the bloody top of the hill hitting balls. I'm like, bruh, hook me
That's
up
what
with that
happens when
one.
you do the mahi. You get a pilot license,
I
mate.
know. I was like, ripped off.
Who are they?
Exactly.
YouTube,
Thank you.
sensations. YouTube sensations. And most people should know them through trick shots.
Never heard of them.
by
12.5
the-
million followers.
You've probably seen one of their bloody things where they've gone up to the top of a dam and thrown for a basketball, and it's landed in the hoop. Don't know how many times they've tried that, but
Yeah. I think I have seen that on YouTube. And,
How much?
Yeah.
How much?
Uncle need the cash.
Sorry.
Searle, you need the cash. What's your weekend consist of?
Shooting up north, just to hang out, and then back down for the Wars on Sunday, of course, Paulie. Couldn't miss that. So
Oh, yes, yeah, big time. Looking forward to that game. I'll be heading up Tauranga way Wednesday afternoon.
Oh, no holiday?
No, heading to a wedding. So, yeah, all right.
holiday.
Up for a wedding and then back.
Who is it? Is it the Royals? There's a wedding on Easter. Come on.
Apparently, it's a very popular time to have a wedding. Quite a few people do it because I know that Carl is heading up to the same wedding I'm going to. Then he's heading to another one on Saturday over the Wairarapa. So, yeah, he's obviously got a lot more friends than me, which is not a surprise, to be fair.
We love you, Paulie.
Yeah, I like your lid, man.
Oh, thanks, bro. Yeah.
Jeez, you're just bringing it back, eh?
Yeah, well, I'm trying out to be a Bond villain in the next Bond movie, so this is part of it. So you might not see me on this again for a while.
Hey,
This has to be one of the greatest outros I've ever heard.
Hey, Paul, just quickly before everyone goes, I'm just going to the elephant in the room is, do you need our TAB accounts for the bonus bets?
Is that how you got the bonus bet that you didn't know about?
Yeah, look, time is bonus bets. So I'll send you my account after this, and little mega bus will go down the treat, eh? Thank you.
Well, Izzy, as you're part of the whānau now, you don't pay whānau, you just embrace them.
Your hard work, mate. Your hard work. Red card. Oh, no, there's no clarity on that. See ya.
Yeah, it's only 20 minutes these days. You'll be all right.
All righty, we better get out of here before this deteriorates even further. Well, thanks to Piri for coming in from Taranaki and joining us today. Thanks to Izzy for tuning in from Christchurch, the place where the home team never wins. And thanks to Searle for coming in once again, as he does every week, all the way from the big smoke up in Auckland. And thanks to you guys for tuning in and listening. Don't forget, you can listen to this podcast where you get all your favorite stuff. I don't know, on the interweb, wherever that stuff lives. And we'll be back. I don't know if Izzy will be back because I don't think he's getting a bonus bet and he'll be angry about it. But someone will be back next week, and we will have a look at how we went. And I look forward to the week coming. So thanks for listening. That's it for the Pick and Go podcast. We'll be back same time or similar time next week.